Here is poet Miriam O'Neal in a reading of her original work.
Our next poet is someone who I've gotten to know over the last few years and have come to really appreciate, perhaps one of my favorites in town. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Miriam O'Neal.
Thank you. Thank you, America's Hometown Laureates, for putting this together. And I hope that we're off to the races with a regular Plymouth Poetry Festival. I'd just like to read a few poems from my books and end with a William Butler Yeats poem because his birthday is on the 13th and we can't ignore that. I'll read from, we start with What We're Given. Oh, I live in Plymouth. I was born in Boston, but don't hold it against me. We moved here when I was 2, so I'm a Plymouthian, a mathematician, actually. And I've been writing since I could hold a pen. And I have 3 books, and I'm going to read from 2 of them today. This first book we start with What We're Given, is my first book of poems that was published in 2018. And the last third of this book is dedicated to the Jewish artist Esther Laurie, who survived the Holocaust. She was in 5 different slave labor camps, but she survived. She was in Lithuania. She was visiting her sister in Lithuania when the Germans marched in, and she was stuck. She couldn't go home. So I want to read one poem from her about her work. She believed that artists are supposed to bear witness. They're supposed to make a record, keep a record of what they see. So I imagined I read deeply about her and her work. And then she came to haunt me for about 6 months. And she was first interred in the Kovno ghetto. And you've heard of Vilnius, Lithuania, I'm sure, the Vilnius ghetto, which was the capital. But Kovno was the literary and artistic capital of Lithuania in those years. And so Kovno was the 2nd largest city. And that's where she ended up in a ghetto. And I imagine her writing home when she at first thinks, oh, we're just going to be here for a while. Kovno, 1939. Please send buttons, aqua to remind me of the sea, or pewter for Tel Aviv's sky in winter. Send the leather green of lemon leaves, or red clay that has paled to pink, like the tracks in the road where the butcher's cart has lumbered toward market, its leaking laid, staining the dust. Send me one pearl, as small as a baby's tooth, from the dozen that marched up your spine on your wedding morning, or black, like the beads in father's cuffs. If you can find it, send the clasp of matched olive burls I used to twine through the wool of my shawl on those mornings when we hunched against the cold as we carried home the day's bread, the silky steam of morning's milk mixed with our own breath. I promise I will bring them when I return. And she did return. She did make it out. In 1945, the Russians liberated Kovno. She was already in her 4th camp by then, and the Russians did liberate them. She got home. She lived in Palestine. Don't leave Palestine. But she did haunt me. So I'm going to read one more Esther poem, and then I'm going to move on. And these poems are dated, located and dated. So this one's called Plymouth, February 2017. There is no other news of her sister, who died in Auschwitz along with her son. No name for either, no footnote to explain why they were in Kovno in the first place. No brother-in-law, no extended family. Perhaps her name was one detail too many for the story. I have looked and looked for her face in the sketches of Kovno's inmates, but only find her in a photograph from Palestine, in which 5 siblings fill the field with steady gazes, their parents seated in their midst. Maybe she's the one taking the photograph at the beach on the North Sea in 1935, in which Esther stands, straight-backed, sunglassed, smiling directly at the camera, dark curls lifted off her face by breeze. Or maybe she is the woman with her back to us, preferring not to be seen. The day they were driven out of Kovno in separate directions, where did Esther hide her sister's name? I'll give you some happier stuff. This is my most recent book, The Half-Said Things. Came out in March of 2022. And I write a lot about location, place. And I have a walking trail. I live in Chiltonville, and I walk out up River Street, out to 3A, along 3A to the beach, back. And this is called A Blessing. Bless the rotting maple leaves, their wide, flat faces on the concrete sidewalks along River Street. Bless their splendid tannins steeped in chill November rains that leave 1,000 perfect leaf stains my feet pass over. Bless the oak leaf stains that keep the maples company, leaves that drifted close, then stayed all through the storm, like hands that hold on to a friend in mourning. Bless the long, split open pods of the catalpas all over Cliff Street, the rain of acorns, the shatter of gilded willow leaves, like a carpet unrolled over the curve. The detritus of all that breathed through summer and dappled us with shadow gives this last exhalation as late autumn cold drops in, gives again blessing, blessing, blessing. And because it's Yeats's birthday soon, I thought we must have a recitation of the Lake Isle of Innisfree by William Butler Yeats. What do you think, Mark? Yes? I would never say no to Yeats.
I brought Yeats.
You did? You brought Yeats? I have another one for tonight. It's a wine poem because I'm hosting at the wine bar. Come down and visit. The Lake Isle of Innisfree. I'll try not to do the drone. I will arise and go now and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. Oh, I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore, while I stand on the roadway or on the pavement's gray. I hear it in the deep heart's core. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. We are grateful for your attention. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe to The Local Scene here and share everywhere. Thank you, friends.